Hello and welcome to the Art of Abundance podcast and YouTube channel. I'm so very happy you're joining. Myself, I'm Leisa Peterson, and I'm excited to introduce Anahata Ananda. Welcome, Anahata.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
I want to tell everyone a little more about you. So Anahata is a prominent shamanic healer and soul guide based here in Sedona, Arizona, and she artfully integrates the fields of spirituality, energy healing, self-empowerment, shamanic teachings, emotional release, quantum manifestation, which we're going to be talking about, couple and family dynamics, and visualization techniques. So this huge body of work that helps people in their own process of self-realization. And I know Anahata because we both live here, and I've also rented her beautiful space, Zen Den, for retreats that I've hosted here in Sedona. And I've been able to watch your magic at the Sedona Yoga Festival. And so I'm so excited to just dive in. And I know you have so much to share. But it would be great to just allow us to feel you, understand you, and let's start there. Maybe tell us a little more about you.
Okay. First of all, thank you for doing what you do so that other people can find their magic. So I run a Shamangelic Healing Center here in Sedona, and it is my passion, it is my dharma, it's my divine service to inspire millions to shine, to empower each of you listeners and you viewers to release and heal those things that are in the way of you stepping into your greatness, of you finding that passion in life where you manifest quantumly your joy, your happiness, and definitely many other things to help others as well. So that's what I do here. It's devoted to kind of helping release fears, limitations, emotional clearing, but also really stepping in very powerfully to your soul agreement and what you came here to do.
It's so fun. And I know that we were going to talk about quantum manifestation, and you prepared some tips and tools, and I think we should just dive right in because I can't wait.
All right. One of the things about quantum manifestation is going to be passion and repetition. So some of these things may be familiar, some of them may be new or a new spin on it. And one of the things that I found really powerfully is that if you're really going to manifest at a high level sustainably, not just for these peaks and, oh my gosh, this is great, and then, oh no, this kind of up and down thing, if we're really looking at thriving and manifesting abundance in all areas of life, not just prosperity, but joy, happiness, and satisfaction, and really thriving in all areas of life, the first tip is you have to be really passionate about what you do. It can't just be like, I'm good at what I do, but I don't love it. And so look at your smile, right? Look at my smile. We love what we do. And so my first tip is really find your passion. And you can be good at something, but not passionate, and you can be passionate and not good at it. And so this is where we really want to find, where is that soul, that part where my soul sings when I do this kind of thing. And you don't have to worry right now, like, well, how am I going to make a living at it? And, I love working with kids, or I love doing art, but I don't know how to make a living right now. The first thing is really just focusing on what your divine gift is. And if you don't know, follow your joy, because that's really where it lies, in those things that light you up, those things that when you're doing it, you really shine. Because back to law of attraction, which I'm sure your audience is familiar with or becoming more and more familiar with it, we really need to be in that passion, high vibe place to be able to attract the support, the opportunities, the openness, and the abundance in all ways. And so being passionate about what you do is really, really number one, because that way the universe can hear and feel your high vibes and start providing support and opportunities that move you in the direction of your greatness. The universe can feel high vibes and or low vibes. It feels intensity. So if you really loathe what you're doing, and I have a lot of clients that walk into my healing practice, they're like, HATE, my life, my job, my relationships, my health. And I'm like, well, there's a start. You know, there's a start. Let's dive into that. So I'd say first and foremost, really looking at what is your passion, for sure. That way the universe can hear you and feel you and support you in continuing that direction.
And so if people hate something, what do you suggest they do? Like,
okay. Yeah, well, first of all, okay, I realize that whatever you may be doing, maybe you were good at it before, or you just did it because this is what everybody else does, or you got out of college and this is just what, you know, society says, do this or do that. And so if you're in a job literally that you loathe, it's time to, you know, maybe you've just outgrown it. Maybe you loved it 10 years ago or 10 weeks ago, but now it's just, it doesn't fit you any longer. And so I invite people, you know, not to quit their job right away, but especially if they don't know what else, but to start having the courage to explore outside of their little box and start trying different things. And so I definitely invite people to say, well, look at other things that you used to like or that you still like that you don't have time for, and start making more time to explore those kinds of things. Because that's where follow those breadcrumbs, because the path to happiness is going to be down that path of like, well, what do I love to do? So I invite people to explore those things that they enjoy doing and then follow the breadcrumbs of, wow, do I want to do this more or less? And if it's like, okay, it's an okay thing, well, then keep exploring until you're like, oh my gosh, I love this. I want to do more. I want to learn more. I want to train. I want to take classes on this. I want to get better at this. And that's where the joy is going to come from.
Beautiful.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
That's number one. Find the things you're passionate about. Number two, we're going to have to be facing our fears, because a lot of times we don't make a move, Leisa, when we're afraid to fail. We're afraid we're not going to have any money. We're afraid, well, I'm going to lose my friends. I'm going to lose my income. I'm going to lose the support. I'm going to maybe get judged or criticized by people. I might lose the way people see me if I go do what I love to do, even though I'm good at this other thing and I'm known for that. I might be judged or criticized, you know. So we want to look at our fears, because sometimes our fears are going to be, the process is going to be too hard for me to make a change, or the process is going to be too hard for me to train in a new industry or a new area, and or the fear of failure, the fear of succeeding also. So we also want to be looking at, what are your fears that are holding you back? I can't do it. I'm not good enough. You know, we want to be looking at that, because without becoming aware of that and moving those fears from the back of your consciousness into the forefront that says, wow, I'm actually afraid of succeeding. I'm afraid of the process. I'm afraid of the judgment or the criticism that might come from my peer group if I move in a direction that is not what they would want for me. Or so I think that that's really important, to be really honest about your fears. And in that, you're going to have to let go in order to grow. You're going to have to be letting go of those limitations or those fears, kind of like we have here in Sedona in the summertime, where we have snake medicine, you know, where we have snakes on the land. Don't worry, they don't bite. I think I've seen maybe 2 rattlesnakes being here for 15 years. So anyway, I mean, that's a fear. We think it's going to bite us. And sometimes it's just the perception that we're going to fail or be judged that is way worse than the actual experience. And so just like a snake does, we want to shed the skin so that we can grow into the next version of ourselves. Sometimes we're holding on to a relationship or a substance or a lifestyle habit or a job because we don't want to we're holding on really tight and don't want to let go. And so part of fear is going to be, I'm going to have to let go of some things in order to grow. And it's going to take courage for sure, to make those changes. And that's where number 3 comes in, because that's to focus on the gain. Well, what am I going to gain if I get in shape? If I do what I love to do, what am I going to gain if I'm happier, or if I write that book, or if I change my career, let go of this relationship, or if I stop this substance that's keeping me small, if I stop drinking, what is my gain? I have more time, I have more health, I have more happiness. So you also want to focus on, well, what's my get? You know, what's my victory? What's my prize? Because that we want to be focusing on. Quantum manifestation is going to be focusing on the future and how it feels already manifest, and focusing on the gain and the glory long before you've even taken a step is very, very vital in the subconscious programming to move us in the direction, to motivate us, but also to keep us on track. And it helps override those fear programs that are so deeply entrenched. We're going to have to be focusing on the positive and the gain. And quantum manifestation is going to be very, very important with visualizing the victory, visualizing it, certainly even before we've made a change or done anything. See that better job, see that healthier body, feel the beautiful, relationship that you're choosing, because focusing on that gain is going to start to rewire the neural networks in the brain. And it's also telling the universe a clear signal. I want this, even though the fears are over here, the universe can't deliver if you're energizing both. So we're going to have, even though the fears are there, you're going to have to be pushing the gas pedal and the passion pedal on really excited, visualized gain. I'm going to succeed. I can see a better job. I can feel my body healthier. So focusing on the gain is super, super important. So far with those 3, how is that tickling you, Leisa?
Yeah, it's really cool because I can see where it's going. And even before we talked about the manifestation is connecting into these powers beyond like our physical body and the physical reality. It's like tapping into something so much bigger.
Yeah.
Love it.
Definitely. We're going to want to use our brain's ability to connect with the passion of the heart. And when those two are in sync, now we open up to the universe of quantum possibilities, where that other job that is really your soul path is waiting for you. And that means we're going to have to let go of the fears, doubts, limitations, the smallness, anything that's in the way of that, and also things that aren't passionate. Like, I've got to be willing to let go of feeling average, living a mediocre life. I've got to be willing to let go in order to grow. And then when the heart is in sync with the brain and we're feeling the yes, and the brain is seeing it happening, now quantum manifestation starts to move, even if we haven't done anything yet. Even if we haven't done anything yet, the subconscious and the heart, the brain, the crown, right? The crown chakra, the third eye being able to see it, and the heart being able to feel it. Now when those are all linked together, we can manifest a lot faster.
It's, something I notice is people do get stuck in patterns, and I'm sure
Yep.
you see this.
Yep.
And even though they're very oriented to spirituality, they really want to change, they still end up returning again and again to those patterns of stuckness. Can you speak to that? Because what do you say to people when they're like, I've been trying this stuff for 10 years, and I'm still not getting the progress that I'd like?
So let's go back to the first thing that I said. Thank you. That's a great question, first of all. Let me go back to the first thing that I said about repetition and intensity or passion. Because if we've been doing an old habit for 10 years, for 20 years, it's now ingrained in my subconscious mind, and it also has a full neural network that is now on automatic. So it's running the show unconsciously without me knowing it. And I can say, hey, I want to change. I want to make a difference. I want to do something differently. But this old neural network, this brain pattern that has been repeated over and over and over again, is kind of running the show. So that goes back to, I'm going to need to replace or override. There is no file delete. People are like, can you just cut that out? You know, that memory or that breakup, can you just cut that out? And, you know, I've done all kinds of shamanic training, and I know cord cutting and all of that. Reality is those neural networks are in there. We need to overwrite the program. And that takes consistency, repetition, right? And also intensity, passion. So that means every day I need to be visualizing my body healthier. Every day, not just like, oh yeah, I'm saying my mantra, I'm healthy and happy and abundant. No, that's not repetition and that's not passion. So we also want to visualize it so that the heart gets excited so much to the point where the brain is starting to build a new pattern, even if we haven't done it yet. And this is how we start changing those patterns. There's a couple things that I actually teach a whole weekend and a half, 3.5 day courses on this very thing. So I'll give your listeners discounts and all of that. Follow the link and I'll give them discounts and free stuff to help them with this. But it's super important that we spend daily time in high intensity feeling and seeing it happening, because the body starts to feel it and our craving starts to change. When we create a new neural network that is high intensity, we have to be feeling it. We really have to be spending 15 minutes a day, at least 2 or 3 times a day, in that heightened state of, I deserve this, I can see it happening, I'm experiencing it to the point where I'm crying, I'm so happy. Even if I'm 250 pounds with a diagnosis and I'm stuck on a couch not able to move, there's no way I'm going to make a change until I start changing the brain patterns first. Because then I'm going to start changing the inner dialogue. And it's in there. The old pattern is entrenched in there. So repetition and passion with your visualizations is super, super essential. And you've got to be doing that daily, multiple times a day. Because if I just say, okay, I'm thriving, I'm vibrant, I'm healthy, and that took me 5 seconds, but then the rest of the day, I'm doing this pattern, these beliefs, these actions that reinforce my old pattern, guess what's going to win out?
Yeah.
So the thoughts, the visualizations will come first, and then you're going to have to act over and over and over again in that direction, knowing that just because you said it doesn't mean that default pattern isn't going to happen often, and we're going to have to keep energizing this other thing over and over and over. And the more we do that, the new neural network starts to build, and then it becomes on automatic. Instead of waking up and having an inner dialogue of, I can't do it and I'm unworthy and all of that, and then those thoughts are going to help, you know, I'm going to reach for sugar, I'm going to reach for sedation, I'm going to reach for anything that supports that vibration. And the body is going to crave those things as well. When we have those other neural patterns working, we're going to want to move the body. We're going to want to move in the direction of manifesting those things. And we also crave different things when we have different thoughts in our mind that says, I can do it, I'm worthy, and I love myself, have very different lifestyle patterns associated with it. I can't, I'm not good enough, I'll never do it. Actually have a totally different set of cravings, lifestyle habits, and a circle of people. So that goes to number 4, which is support. You're gonna need support here because we're gonna often go back to those old patterns. So you're gonna need an accountability buddy. You're gonna need people that want you to succeed, which is not gonna be the people that you go out drinking heavily with on Friday night, are not necessarily going to be your cheerleaders that want you to succeed if they're also sedating. So your support, rallying support is super, super important. So the people you surround yourself have to be those people that don't want you staying small and want to believe in you and are inspiring you to the next level. So you might need to pretty much often change your circle of influence. When we start making big quantum changes or want to change our health or our lifestyle or be our great, more often than not, my cupboards change, the people around me change, the top 5 people that I talk to changes. What I put in my body, how I spend my weekends, what is on the bedstand next to my bed, what I watch, what I listen to. Every time I make a quantum change and a quantum leap, all of that changes. And like my cupboards get cleared out, and this doesn't fit any longer, that doesn't fit any longer. These people that are pretty negative and filled with a lot of drama, chaos, and lack consciousness aren't going to be in my inner circle. They're not going to have access to my thoughts daily anymore. And so the support might also be letting go and shedding some substances, some habits, some Netflix till 3 a.m, maybe some things that aren't really supporting your greatness, and also your circle of influence, without a doubt. Who are the 5 to 10 people that are surrounding you, and are they inspiring you to break old patterns or supporting you to keep them the way they are? So a lot of times people say, gosh, I'm unhappy and so on and so forth, and we'll identify, let's say, an alcohol addiction. And, maybe it's not an addiction, but it's a pattern, it's a habit where on Tuesday nights or every night or Friday night and Sunday mornings, I'm drinking. And I'm like, well, there's an opportunity to shift into greatness. And they're like, well, but I'm going to lose my friends. Back to fears again. I might lose my friends on Friday night. And so I'm like, okay, if they're really deeply your friends, you'll have other things in common with them besides drinking. And people are like, but, and I'm like, if they're really your friends, you'll be able to take a run with them or a walk with them or go to lunch with them or another activity that isn't involved in something that is affecting your health, because a lot of times people will come to me with a health diagnosis, and they have to quit a certain substance or thing, that they've kind of had a romance with, and they don't want to let go of gluten or coffee or sugar or alcohol. And we've got to focus on the gain. Wow, I might live. I might be happy. I might be healthy. And so I say, if those people are really deeply your soul family and they want you to shine and they really, really care about you, alcohol won't be your only bond with them, or coffee or desserts or Netflix or whatever, not to hit on any of those things because they all have their place. But if it's become a poison in your life and keeping you from your greatness, then it's no longer a medicine.
Right.
Do you follow me there?
Yeah, it's great.
Because everything can be a medicine in the right dose at the right time for the right reason. But when we're playing small, we can reach into those places and overdose on things out of sedating or depressed, or to kind of, comfort ourselves. And then instead of it just being something that happens once in a while, it can become a lifestyle habit. And then 5 years later, we wonder, why am I not happy in life? Well, let's look at how you spend most of your free time. Who you spend it with, doing what, and do those activities leave you more whole, inspired, fired up? And if not, I might relook at how you spend your time, who you're surrounded with, what you prioritize, what you make time for, and is it inspiring you, moving you in the direction of your greatness, or kind of keeping you playing small, or even worse, like really supporting you in a downward spiral that isn't healthy. Yeah, so we're going to have to break some of those patterns for sure. And you might need some help. The support might be, I need a coach, I need a fitness trainer, I need an accountability buddy, I need a mastermind group, I need a monthly call to keep me on track, and reminders, what podcasts like this one, what podcasts, what books, what content do I want surrounding me, so that it's reminding me of what I want. And I teach a whole course just on reinforcements for that, so that we're feeding that neural network in a positive way multiple times a day, with our lifestyle, with our habits, with reminders on our phone, like everything supporting us to stay feeding that dream of following our passion and manifesting our dreams.
Hmm. So is
So,
that, so is there 5 and 6 still?
so yes, there is 5 and 6. So now we've gotten clear, okay, I need to move in my area of passion and I'm going to have to face my fears and I'm going to have to focus on my yes and my gain with positive reinforcement. And then I'm going to need my support team. I'm going to need my support council and support infrastructure, reminders, all of that. So number 5 is you're going to have to take some action. Once we've imagined it possible and we've got our support team, now it's up to you of saying, okay, what action steps do I need to take? You know, do I need to take a training? Do I need to take a course? Do I need to make a call? Do I need to learn how to write? If I'm going to go be a writer, is there some other skill I need to learn? Is there some networking? Are there other people that have done this before me that I could maybe learn from? And so you're going to have to take action. What is your action plan? So we want the next 6 steps. And so, you know, that's where your support team comes in, because when you start taking action, the fears can come up. The old neural network can be there. You might wobble. You might fall back into your old pattern, and that's where your support team comes in. It says, hey, stay on it. Like, oh, I kind of got off track this week. Okay, great. That's why my accountability buddy on Sunday night is saying, okay, I hear you got off track. What can you do better? What can I do to help you to move the direction the next 7 days so that this next Sunday you're saying, yes, yes, I moved in the direction of my dreams. So action. That's that 3rd chakra. I know you've been sharing with your listeners and your followers all about chakras. I teach all kinds of courses on that. I'll give them a free guided meditation every day for them to use every day. But this is Manipura, like the 3rd chakra, that is like fire, action. I'm going to have to go for this. This is where passion is not just an excited feeling, but it's put behind movement. And that's where things start happening. And then, you know, when the momentum happens, it starts accelerating, which is really exciting. And that's where we just start breaking patterns left and right. But it starts here with doing what you love, so that you're not taking action just to do something that doesn't bring you joy. It might bring you money, but not happiness. And so then you're wondering, like, why am I meeting resistance, or I'm not having as much of a return? I'm not manifesting very much. Well, it's probably because there's a fear or a limitation, or I'm not doing what I really love. I'm not doing my Dharma soul work. I'm just doing something to make money, or what my buddy is doing. So you're going to have to take action. You're going to have to leap. And that's where we learn. And so in that, it's not going to be like downhill, easy always. When we're doing our Dharma work, when we're following your soul path, it's not like, oh, I can kick back and it's easy. We want to stay in that spiritual connection, because we're going to fall sometimes. There will be obstacles. There will be challenges. There will be roadblocks. There will be like a fork in the road, and we're not quite sure, do I go this way or do I go that way? And that's where our spiritual connection really comes in, which also comes in with the support in number 4 of having a spiritual relationship, so that when you get to those scary spots, you can drop into that meditation place and say, hey, help me out. I'm lost. I'm unsure. I'm afraid. I don't know which way to go. I'm not sure about the next steps. Am I going in the right direction? There's an obstacle. I don't know how to navigate this. And that's where divine guidance is going to come in, because we want to be listening to that when we're taking action. And then we take an action, and then we listen, and then we refine. And so it's going to be this little cha-cha, this little dance where, you know, and I'm sure you've probably had this in your, on your journey, where it's like, oh, I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. Boom, hit a wall, or some resistance, or some opportunity to make an adjustment in your plan so that it's better or stronger, or you might have to rebuild a weak part of your business. Has that ever happened with you?
Oh, definitely. Other cases.
Right. I've had that with technology, because that's not my favorite is technology, but I know that in order to get my message out to millions, I'm going to have to figure out this Zoom thing and SEO and my website and all of this social media stuff. And it's like, okay, well, this might be my learning edge. And oh, this part of my website just totally fell apart. Okay, there's some words there I could use. And so that leads to number 6 is resilience. Because if you're going to really do your passion, if you're really going to do your soul's calling, then you're going to need to be resilient. Because as you grow, sometimes your support, sometimes the people that used to support you might get threatened by your success. And you're going to have to keep moving forward and shining anyway. When the website crumbles and falls down, you're going to need to rebuild it. If you hit an obstacle or a wall, maybe it's, I don't know how to finance this, or I need a partner to bring a certain skill set that I don't have, or I haven't ever been down this path before and I don't know how to do this. You're going to need to be resilient, because there will be obstacles, you will fall, and if it's your soul path, that part of your soul that is so passionate about this work will help you dust yourself back off and say, there must be another way. I will try it again. I'm going to learn from what just happened, because I just had an epic fail, or my launch was only this successful, or it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. That's where resilience, number 6, comes in. It says, okay, well, I'm willing to learn and try it again. And maybe figure out, maybe I need a coach, maybe I need some training, maybe I need an expert to walk me through, or inspire me to keep me going, or to help me figure out how to navigate this so that I can succeed over and over and over again. Every person that is really successful sustainably at what they do has been resilient. They've had fails and falls and had to try it over and over and over and over again. And so don't feel like, well, I tried my dream this one time and it didn't work, so I have to quit. That's not it. You know, your soul path will test your devotion and your commitment to following your dream to its fullest manifestation, which might mean the ego might take a hit in that, well, it has to be like this, and that's not going to be manifestation. Manifestation mudra is like, okay, I'm open to flexibility. I'm open to trying it again. I'm open to doing it differently. I'm open to learning. And I'm opening to follow divine guidance, even if my head says, no, don't do that. or the critics say, that's not possible. You know, divine guidance is going to help you be resilient through those obstacles on the way to manifesting.
How do you make because we have the inner critic and then we have this divine guidance, like any suggestions for how to, I mean, I think I'm hearing you, of course, with the repetition. It's like, is that part of what you're doing is through the repetition, you're making this voice, this beautiful, loving voice, stronger than the inner critic voice, which is saying, well, you messed up again, and now you've got to start all over again. And all those voices that come up when we do fail, which is inevitably part of the entrepreneurial journey, especially.
For sure. And so as kids, we didn't have an inner critic. If our shoe was on the wrong foot, we didn't care. If we had 2 different socks on, if we fell off our bike, we got back up again. If we tried to make something and it broke, we rebuilt it. So the inner critic just needs to be replaced with the inner cheerleader, with the inner motivational speaker. And that's why on my Instagram and Facebook, I'm always like positive, positive, positive. You can do it. You can do it, because we need to override that critic. Because as children, we didn't have an inner critic. We learned that became an inner voice from somebody else criticizing, you colored wrong. You built that wrong. You fell. You didn't succeed. You missed the ball. You didn't get a home run. You didn't do it right. You didn't pass the test. And so this has been reinforced in us over and over and over again. And that's a great question, because we're not going to stop the inner critic. We're just going to override it with someone that says, yeah, I hear you, but I'm feeding this instead. Mm-hmm. And it's not unlike that, shamanic story of whatever wolf you feed, there's the white wolf and the black wolf. And whatever wolf you feed is the one that will devour the other one. That's the one that is going to grow stronger. And know that inner critic has been happening since childhood, in those programs of I'm not good enough, I'm not as good as this person, I didn't do it like that person. And we're not going to do everything 100% right all the time. Of course, we're not all meant to be professional football players or amazing artists or songwriters or authors. We're not all meant to do that. And so we also get to be at peace, but I will do what I do well, even if it takes me 100 attempts, 1,000 attempts, 100,000 attempts. I will do what my heart desires. And so that's where we tap that soul that says, I will rise above. Hashtag rise up. And we want to rise above that inner dialogue that got programmed in there from somebody else that isn't us, that is most likely not true, and it doesn't belong and it doesn't fit. We've outgrown that. Why are we still feeding that? And if the only way we can not feed it is have something else to feed that's better. So this is where it takes action. Back to step number 5, you're going to have to take action. And that first action is, let me dream that it's possible. Let me start to feel, hear, and see my inner dialogue and my inner vision, seeing it possible. No matter if I have 1,000 fails between now and there. And it's okay, so that we're okay with failing, because we've been criticized that failing is wrong, you're bad, shame on you. And it's like, what if failing, it helps me learn and I get better and stronger, especially as an entrepreneur. If you aren't really embracing failures, you're not going to get very far.
Yeah, I got this great teaching. For many years, I practiced Buddhism, and the teacher, I heard a story. He had written this book that was like 600 pages, and his followers had put the manuscript together and sent it to the publisher, and they kept checking in to say, did you receive it? This is back in like 80s. And they checked in and they're like, no, it hasn't arrived. It hasn't arrived. And finally they were like, who's going to tell him that the manuscript is gone? Like, they're like, we didn't make a copy. And he had worked on it for like 10 years, it was just terrible. And they're like, it's gone. And they went to tell him, and he was like, he got a big smile on his face, and he's like, this book is going to change like so many lives. It's going to help so many people. And they're like, well, it's gone, And he was like, no, this is a really good sign of what's to come. And, the next day it was found and arrived and everything was fine. And I always keep that in the back of my mind, that we have no idea. Like, what if we just transform every single situation into, this is like showing me good things.
Yay, this door is closing. And even though I put a lot of time into it, or it's lost and I have to start over, that just happened with the system last year, where I'm like, okay, I put this much time and money into building this system and, learning it and training somebody and all of this. And then we get 9 months down the line and it's like, it's not the right thing. And it's like, but I do want the right thing. And my visualization that says I'm building a strong infrastructure to stand on solidly, then I could flip it and back to resilience and say, this is happening for me, not to me.
Yes.
This is happening for me, not to me, because in my mind and in my heart, I'm building a strong foundation, and this system is not going to be it. Yay, that I can let go of that much money and that much time and start over and rebuild it, so that it's not crushing under the weight of when I put more things on top of it. And there's a bigger loss. And so I'm like, fantastic, because now I knew from that experience more clearly what I wanted and what I didn't want. And now I have the system that I want that is so much stronger. And so we get to really be grateful for those course corrects and spirit saying, oh no, left turn, not straight. You're like, but straight's what I want. Like, but I like it here this way. We get to be really juicy and flexible and back to resilience, that like a rubber band, and to be able to bounce back and say, oh, the dream has changed. It's even better. It's new and improved.
I love it. Where do people go to connect with you?
Thank you. Well, of course, here in Sedona, you can come and visit me, shamangelichealing.com. We'll make sure to have the bio and the website link. So that's where I am, shamangelichealing.com. Anahata Ananda on Facebook and YouTube and like all of that. Shamangelic Healing on Instagram. Just find me there. There's always inspirational posts. And now that my systems are stronger, more videos, more inspirational content coming. And I will for sure give a guided visualization, a free audio of that, some other free gifts and discounts if people want to come and do the Empowerment and Awakening weekend or a retreat here, you know, a private retreat or group retreat with me. So that's what's going to be happening. And I've got all kinds of amazing things happening and new offers coming all the time as I stand on solid foundation and I keep rising up and learning and growing and spreading new wings all the time. And I'm grateful that you're right here, and thank you for doing what you do so that others can find tools to help them manifest their greatness.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And just a final thought around abundance.
It's what we deserve. It's not a nasty word, you know, like money. Abundance is to feel full, to feel alive, to be living all the way this gift of life. And so when I feel manifestation, I think it's our divine obligation to bring in our light and our fullness, and also our obligation to dissolve any inner critic, any programs, any limited thinking, so that we're bringing our fullest expression to our families, to our loved ones, to our clients, because that's what we agreed upon already before we took our first breath in life. Abundance and manifestation, manifesting our fullest creation and our fullest potential is what our soul actually wants. We only get depressed and you know, dis-ease or, you know, have a diagnosis or sedate when we're not following that path. And so I just speak to your listeners and to your, you know, your fans here, saying that this is what you deserve. It's what you want. And it's what everybody else wants too, you and your greatness, because then we get to receive something powerful and unique that only you can bring here. And so Lisa and I want you coming forward. Absolutely. Bring your magic, because then we get to receive it. And then we all leave this planet better than we found it. And that's really what our commitment was anyway, before we took our first breath, is that we would leave this planet in some way better than we found it. So
beautiful. That's a beautiful way to end it. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you, sweetie. And may your listeners go forth and really shine. And may they have a year and a life filled with the abundant riches in all areas of life. So looking forward to seeing you soon.
Yes. Thanks.